Deep inside a cozy little house, in a room filled with colorful toys and bright posters, lived a boy named Max. Max was 7 years old, with short brown hair that flopped over his eyes when he leaned forward. Today, he was sitting at his small blue desk, wearing his favorite green t-shirt and comfy beige shorts. His tongue was sticking out just a little, a sign that he was concentrating very hard. He was doing his homework, carefully writing numbers on a crisp white page. The sun was shining outside, and a gentle breeze whispered through the open window, making the curtains dance. Suddenly, a stronger gust of wind, a playful little whirlwind, swooshed into the room. Whoosh! It lifted the very page Max was working on right off his desk. Oh no! Max gasped, his eyes wide. The paper fluttered in the air for a moment, like a giant white butterfly, before sailing right out the window. Without a second thought, Max jumped up from his chair and dashed out of his room, his sneakers squeaking on the floor. He ran through the living room, past the sofa where his teddy bear was sitting, and pushed open the back door, stepping out into the sunny backyard. There it was. His homework page was having the time of its life, dipping and soaring in the air. It danced past a big, leafy green bush, twirled around the old oak tree in the middle of the yard, and then zigzagged its way towards the wooden fence that separated his yard from his neighbor's. Max started to chase it. "Come back here," he giggled, his arms outstretched. He leaped and lunged, but the tricky piece of paper was always just out of his reach. It was like a game of tag, and the paper was definitely winning. He chased it around the garden, his feet pattering on the soft green grass. The paper floated high, then low, then high again. Max was getting a little tired, puffing and panting as he ran. Just as the paper did a loop-the-loop near the fence, a friendly voice called out. Having some trouble, Max looked over and saw his neighbor, Lana, peering over the fence. Lana was 6 years old, with big, curious eyes and bouncy black curls that framed her smiling face. She was wearing a pretty purple dress with little yellow flowers on it. Max stopped running to catch his breath. "My homework," he panted, pointing at the paper, which was now lazily drifting towards a bed of red and yellow flowers. It blew away. Lana giggled. She watched the paper for a second and then said, "Need some help?" Max nodded eagerly. "Yes, please." With a new friend on his team, Max felt a burst of energy. Lana was a great spotter. "It's going left," she'd shout from her side of the fence. "Now it's going down, near the big rose bush." Max would follow her directions, running to where she pointed. They were a team now, a homework rescuing team. The paper seemed to be playing with them. At one point, it swooped down from the sky and landed ever so gently right on top of Max's head, like a paper hat. Max stood completely still, surprised. Lana pointed at him and burst into laughter. Her laugh was like little bells tinkling. Seeing himself with the paper on his head made Max laugh too. He carefully reached up and tried to grab it, but whoosh! The wind picked it up again. "Almost," Lana cheered. "It's heading for the flower bed again." She pointed. The paper drifted slowly, lower and lower, until it came to rest on a big, soft marigold petal. This was their chance. Max tiptoed closer, slow and steady, like a ninja. He held his breath. Lana watched, her hands clasped together in excitement. Max crouched down, reached out his hand very, very carefully, and got it. He gently pinched the corner of the page between his fingers and pulled it free. He held it up triumphantly. "I got it," he shouted, a huge grin spreading across his face. He sighed a big sigh of relief and looked over at Lana, who was clapping her hands. "We got it," Max corrected himself, smiling at his friend. "Teamwork saves the day." Lana smiled back, her eyes sparkling. "Anytime," she replied happily. Max carefully folded the precious homework page and tucked it safely into his pocket. A little while later, the adventure was over. Max and Lana sat together on the steps of Max's back porch. The sun was warm, and the breeze was gentle now. Max had his homework spread out on his lap, a pencil in his hand, carefully finishing the last few math problems. Next to him, Lana was busy with her own project. She had a piece of paper and a pink crayon, and she was drawing a cheerful picture of a smiling sun into happy stick figures, a boy and a girl, playing in a yard. They didn't say much, but they didn't need to. They were happy just sitting there together, two good friends who knew that any problem, big or small, is always easier to solve with a little bit of teamwork.